I am an O-ring expert. I worked on the solid rocket boosters for the Space Shuttle Challenger.
So you work for NASA?
No. I worked for the company in Utah that was contracted to build rockets for NASA.
You work there now?
No.
And your responsibilities were what?
I was appointed to the Special SEALs Integrity Unit, and I would make inspections for the recovered rockets and the rockets that were ready for launch. And on the night in question, during the telecon, I made my findings clear.
Just a moment, please. We will get to that later.
During the Presidential Commission, my colleagues and I expressed our concern.
We will get to that later.
I'm here to bring a $1 billion civil suit against my company, so what do you want to know right now?
I'm here to determine if you are a victim or if you were the cause of the problem before we take your case.
I'm not the problem.
You were responsible for the O-rings, correct?
Yes.
Did anyone work for you or with you?
What does that matter?
Because what you are proposing we do with your case won't be like the Presidential Commission hearings. In the court of public opinion, perception matters. Now, was anyone working for you?
I didn't have any
or
employees
with you?
working for me, so what? I'm responsible?
It didn't take you long to get us there, did it?
I'm here to protect you.
Protect us from what?
Well, I heard about what you did, which is a great thing. You saw something that concerned you and you spoke up about it.
I'm the one that tried to stop it. The future of the space program was in our hands.
And 7 lives.
And 7 lives.
There are going to be a lot of accusations, a lot of questions, but this is our chance that our story as a team is heard.
Did you know that the Space Shuttle Challenger was set to launch the day before? And had it launched, everything would have been perfectly fine. If not for a jammed up door handle on the outer hull of the hatch.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir, we're working on it. Yes, sir.
There were a lot of factors that contributed to this.
In 1986, the space program was attempting to launch 24 shuttles a year.
We're really going to work on a spaceship with a hacksaw?
Should we get the drill?
I don't know.
We weren't even getting close. The most we got was 10.
I think they should send Mike up with a drill.
You guys sending Mike up?
It was embarrassing. And it only added
Pressure on us to launch.
What'd they say?
Mike's coming up. I'll do it.
Got it.
Yes, sir. We got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I'll let them know, but I think we... Yes, sir, I'll let them know.
What's going on?
They're pushing launch to tomorrow. Put it back on.
Okay.
5 minutes to get ready.
Dad makes the rockets?
No, dummy. He seals them.
Don't say dummy.
Stop. Stop. Mom!
Stop
I'm
it.
trying to show her.
Stop.
The rocket is broken up into pieces, and he makes sure they're sealed when they go back
Stop
together.
that. Come here.
I was trying to show her.
Name calling and
Dad,
bullying
tell her you make the
accomplishes
rockets.
nothing.
I seal the rockets.
See?
And that's part of making the rockets. Come on, let's go. We're gonna be late. Let's go, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't forget your lunch. 1. Emma, hey.
Dad,
Yep.
is the shuttle launching today?
Nope, you're good.
Wait, why not?
'Cause those idiots can't get anything right.
Don't say idiots. And just remember how you're right is important too.
There's only one way to be right.
Dad,
Yeah.
does everybody work at the company you work for?
Mostly.
How many?
I don't know, thousands of those doodahs.
Dad,
Yes.
is Mom right or are you right?
Now that's the right question to be asking. Don't you ever forget that. In our family, we do what's right, okay?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
That means your mom is probably right. But we'll see.
Many of you in the news media have asked to have an opportunity to hear a little bit more about the events that occurred this morning.
Okay, thank you. Well, of course, it was just not our day removing the ground support assist handle, and that handle could not be removed because a threaded fastener apparently was stripped, and we had a little bit of problem with the frost and the ice on the external tank, and then the wind picked up. We were really getting into a condition of no-go from the standpoint of RTLS crosswind.
Did they also use a hacksaw on the bolt?
Well, they did use a hacksaw to cut away the cylinder on this particular handle.
At what point would you say tomorrow the temperatures have caused scrub and
The outside temperature, the absolute outside temperature, we don't have.
No one seemed to care about the space program until that stunt with that teacher.
why do you call it a stunt?
It was unnecessary. But suddenly everyone's interested in space again. Everyone's glued to their TVs, which meant all eyes were on us.
Adam, when do you think they will reschedule the launch?
Not sure.
Why did they scrub the launch in the first place?
I don't know.
What about
Just getting to work like you, okay? Sure, we'll find out.
Okay, but they're expecting the temperatures to be below freezing in Florida.
Freezing in Florida. Hey,
The Challenger launch was postponed 3 times and scrubbed once from the planned date of January 22nd, 1986.
correct.
They have a way of twisting your words around and using them against you.
Would the other launches have resulted in O-ring failures had they taken place?
You say one thing a little bit different a year from now, you're on trial for perjury.
I guess the other launches would have been fine.
Do you do a lot of guessing in your line of work?
Florida may be experiencing record low temperatures, but the heat is still on. School children from around the nation have gathered to watch their favorite teacher prepare to blast off into space. Sadly, there will be no launch today, as NASA has yet again scrubbed another shuttle launch, this time because of a jammed door handle. Will NASA ever launch Space Shuttle Challenger?
I didn't find out until 1 p.m. that they planned to launch the next morning.
What was your main concern that day?
Temperature was a concern. It was the concern. And at around 5 o'clock, we began to realize we were in some serious trouble.
Listen to me. I don't think you realize how deadly important this is. The shuttle is scheduled to launch in about 16 hours, so I need to know from you guys what exactly is the temperature going to be. Florida? Yes, in Florida. The rockets are in Florida.
Looks like 30 degrees.
And you're sure that's Cape Canaveral, not Orlando, right?
Carl, get out.
Whoa.
It's 30 degrees right now
So,
in Florida.
are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. Why do you think I came storming in here?
You come storming in everywhere. Is it going to be colder than 30 degrees?
What do you think? Does it get colder at night?
Fair point. Carl, what do you think?
That sounds serious. I think we should tell someone.
Okay, well, get the guys together and we'll discuss it and take it upstairs.
Will do. Oh, where do you want us to meet?
Bullpen.
Okay. Where in the bullpen?
Oh, boy.
Anywhere is fine, Carl.
On it.
This guy.
You got to take it down a notch.
What?
That's why nobody listens to you, you know. The storming in, kicking Carl out. You know he agrees with you.
Oh, yeah, because I'm right.
Okay. What do you want to do about it?
Well, what have I been talking about?
Okay.
For months.
Okay. Dial it down. You are right. Correct. We believe you. No one has ever been righter in the history of being right. So, what should we do? Who do you want me to call? You may call Reagan? How do we convince him that you are right?
Convinced. This isn't a convincing thing. You show him the numbers, and that's the
I
number.
know, but have the numbers meant anything so far?
No.
And you've been at this for about a year now?
And?
So, how do we discuss and convince? Do you want us to run into every office hysterically, screaming that the sky is falling?
Again, I don't understand what you're saying right now. These idiots don't have us built.
Let's just talk to the guys and see what they say. That good?
Well, it doesn't matter. Once they see the facts, then they'll see.
Adam, I'm getting a headache just thinking about this stuff. Come on, let's go.
What is it, Carl?
Oh, Adam has something to talk about.
Is it actually important?
He says it's 30 degrees in Florida.
Well then, that is important. I'll be there in a moment. Carl.
Yes, Dean?
Where is there?
Oh, the bullpen.
Carl. Where in the bullpen?
I don't know. The middle? Adam and Bill want to see us.
Oh, come on, I was just about to leave. I'm hungry. Where are we going? You really need to get a handle on this sort of stuff. Get it? Handle? Okay. Are you going to tell me what's going on or what? Oh, we need to get Frank.
Frank. Adam's not going to like us getting Frank.
Adam doesn't like anything. Come on. You've been summoned.
Not me. I'm not here.
Adam says it's 30 degrees in Florida.
Really? What is it with this guy? What's his problem?
I don't know. Let's go find out.
I need you guys to back me up on this in here.
Maybe we should hear him out, just in case.
He has been going on about this for a year. I'm sick of it.
The sooner this is over with, the sooner we can get some dinner. Hey guys, what's happening? Happy hour?
Can somebody tell me why I'm not at home having dinner right now? What is the problem?
It's too cold to launch.
Really? It's too cold to light up 1 million pounds of rocket fuel.
What's he doing here?
I thought we could use as many people as possible.
Let me ask you this. How does rocket fuel do when it's spewing out the sides instead of the bottom, Von Braun? All we have to do is take this memo, show them the facts. NASA will reschedule the launch until later in the day or when it warms up. It's all in the memo. The memo?
Yes, the memo.
Tell him what's in the memo.
I've been working on this for over a year. It has all my findings. And now you're going to tell me that none of you read my memo?
I did not read it.
Okay. It's on the memo. It's cold. What does it mean?
You have a problem?
Guys.
You know something? You're like this pebble that gets under the wheel of a shopping cart and it makes it go.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And you're like the guy that can't build a shopping cart that can go over a pebble. What do you even do here?
I make sure guys like you don't torpedo our company.
Can we just stick with facts, gentlemen? All of this bickering gets us nowhere.
What's the coldest temperature NASA has ever launched one of our shuttle rocket boosters?
STS-51C. 1 year ago, -3 days. Third launch of Discovery. The temperature, 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, good job, Dean.
Oh, yeah, cookies for everybody. Hey, Frank, what's the coldest temperature we've ever tested one of our solid rocket boosters?
Hey, Adam, do you get more or less erosion at a 73-degree launch?
Oh, so you did read it, and you know there was more erosion but less blow-by.
You are trying to stop this launch, and I am not going to allow it. And neither's Carl.
If there was a problem, why didn't you stop the launch?
Because it wasn't up to me. I'm not the decision maker. There is a chain of command. We are just a very small cog in a very big machine.
Seems pretty important.
The shuttle is made up of millions of parts. It is the most complex piece of machinery in human history. The O-rings were just one piece in a sea of pieces, and no one was listening.
We need to hear more before we decide either way.
Okay, shopping cart genius.
Don't take my pencil.
When we ship all the pieces of our 4-story rockets and they put them all back together at Kennedy, how do you think we keep 1 million pounds of rocket fuel from spewing out of the connection points? With our seals. And if our seals don't seal, then everyone blows up and dies.
Problem is that you can't prove that temperature is the problem.
I know, that's the problem.
Is this what you guys want? You want this guy making decisions about your future?
Yeah, why are you making such a big deal about this tonight?
No. He's been on about this for about a year now.
Exactly. And none of the other shuttle launches got stopped.
When we launched in 30 degrees,
No, I think we should talk to the boss, run it up the chain.
Guys, Adam here knows that he cannot stop a launch unless everybody else here is on board. And he also knows that management is not going to stop a $1 billion launch without any proof. And Adam also knows that he is just one guy.
I must say, I am unconvinced.
I think we should run this up the chain, however painful it might be.
Bad idea.
I may be unconvinced, but this discussion needs to happen. To do nothing at this point would be a big mistake.
Let's say we do postpone the launch. What's the worst that could happen?
Management might find a replacement company to build the solid rocket boosters. That's what. Oh, and also, our company, you know, the one we still work for, they might just start laying off people because we are the ones who delay launches at the 13th hour.
I think he has a point. We all have jobs to think about.
And dinners. Don't you have a kid in college? Don't you have a mortgage? And don't you have a wife and 2 kids who are depending on you?
Yeah, we have all these problems, but what's the solution here that's not killing another launching?
and what happens if we blow up the shuttle tomorrow? What happens after that?
Why would
How's that for your job security?
Ridiculous.
I really admire what you guys did.
You don't have the first clue about what we did, or what we do, or what we will do.
He's on our team. It's time you two start acting like
You know, ever since this happened, management has been trying to paint me as some kind of malcontent employee bent on causing problems.
Excuse us for just a minute.
No, it's completely all right. You're right. I don't know you personally. I don't know that, but I know that you're a person of conviction, and I know that you care deeply about the space program, which is why we're all here trying to get this sorted out.
What do you make of him so far?
Well, if you press him, he falls apart. He's defensive, rude, and difficult to deal with. I would like to hear more, though.
Look, what we can't do is turn on each other. I mean, yeah, let's get it all out in here where it's safe. But out there, we have to stick together.
Are you asking us to lie?
No, nobody's advocating lying.
Going back to our previous conversation, are you a malcontent employee bent on causing problems?
No. Maybe. Probably, but for good reason.
What reason?
Why can't you just talk to him like a normal person? Be reasonable.
I don't have to, I'm right.
He's just afraid of losing his job. Hell, I am. And you're never going to win anybody like this.
This needs to stay an engineering question, that's what
But if we go up to the boss like this, we're going to get nowhere.
Who, Kurt? Why aren't we marching up to his office right
I
now?
thought we would have a brief, calm conversation and come up with an agreement together. And then walk up there with a proposal. I didn't anticipate this off-brand.
Why do we need to take a problem that has no solution to our boss?
There's at least 2 other engineers that think there's a problem.
As soon as we go, Frank is going to follow us. And as soon as we get up there, he's going to throw around his credentials. Problem review board this and problem assessment systems that, and nothing's going to happen.
I'm getting Jim on the phone right now.
Hold on. Let's just see how we're going to go ahead and keep Frank away for a few minutes. Get Jim on the phone. Get him on our side. Have him call Kurt. And make it seem like Cape Canaveral is asking for a flight-ready review meeting. And Jim can make everyone concerned about the temperature.
This is a farce. We're engineers, we're not...
No, we're not engineers. We're people. Dumb, emotional people.
Okay, well, thanks for the psychology lesson, Professor. Right now, I'm more interested in rockets exploding.
Did it ever occur to you that your interpersonal skills may have hindered your ability to convince your coworkers?
If that isn't the understatement of a lifetime, is this guy the best you've got? I was right.
When you were in engineering school, did they make you show your work?
What does that have to do with anything?
Did they make you show them your work when you were solving problems and analyzing potatoes?
So what if they did?
Well, you're going to show your work here because it's not good enough to just say you were right. Anyone can make a prediction. It's going to rain. I want to know how you knew. And I want to know how you told them. Because maybe the problem wasn't with their understanding. Maybe the problem was with how it was communicated, and that's on you. So how exactly did you maneuver yourself through the chain of command to get the new information to the Cape?
So, how do we get the Cape on the phone without Frank knowing about it? Yeah, I thought you said Carl was on my side.
Why don't we just take Frank to the recovery facility? Show him the slip.
What?
That'll work. And then you could just go ahead and think of a way to break off and go to your office and get some papers or something.
I'm not playing games.
Just think of a good reason to break off as soon as we get going on it.
Bill had a way that he wanted to do things.
And did you agree with Bill?
Okay, fellas. We're going to the recovery facility.
Does fluorocarbon elastomer work better or worse in freezing temperatures?
What is fluoroelastic?
It's the seal, and no, rubber-like substances do not work better in freezing cold.
Exactly. Cold rubber doesn't seal as well.
I want us to go.
What difference do a few degrees make about anything?
Dean, does water freeze at 33 degrees?
No, it does not. But it does at 32.
That's right. A single degree can make a
And it
difference.
can affect
You
our
guys are
fluorocarbon elastomers.
hopeless.
Help me understand why you weren't taking the advice of your problem assessment specialist.
Who, Frank? Are you kidding me? You should be asking me why didn't everyone take my advice?
You're not going to convince me to put everyone's jobs here in jeopardy over some theory you can't even come up with.
Maybe you should have done your actual job. Now it's time for the smart guys to do their jobs. You're willing to kill people for jobs?
Self-righteous.
Frank! I'm not the problem.
I've just about had enough of this.
Guys, relax. Okay, we have to get to the bottom of this. It may be uncomfortable, but you need to tell me the truth.
Hey! Where's he going?
I think you forgot something in his office. Did you forget something in your office?
No!
If the recovery boats come in, they want to know what that means.
It means our rockets will get lost in the Atlantic Ocean. Those things are expensive. We better not lose them. Is that option on the table?
They want to know what this will mean to NASA. Can't you just pick it up off the bottom?
What kind of a question is that? Tell the recovery boats to remain out at sea and get those rockets when they splash down.
Boats can't stay out there in the wind. We need you to figure the cost for your company if we launch with no recovery boats.
See if NASA can figure this out then. If you want 24 launches in a year, you can only do that with reusable parts. If the parts get lost in the Atlantic Ocean, wait, too windy. It's too windy for boats to be on the water, but not too windy to launch the shuttle.
We're trying to get through this launch before thinking about making recoveries to supply the next one.
If the boats come back in now, they won't be able to make it back out for the launch window.
The boats are already headed back.
So, we are going to lose $1 billion asset.
That's right.
Excuse me?
What is he doing? Huh? Huh?
Get the flight engineer on the phone now. This is Adam with the team that built the solid rocket boosters, and I have important information regarding a catastrophic failure of a shuttle launch due to the primary and secondary O-rings. Get him on the phone.
Who's on the phone? Are you
now.
talking to Kurt? Huh?
Jim Witt, go.
Jim, you have about 30 seconds to get Kurt on the phone and convince him to call a meeting between NASA and our company to discuss the impending catastrophic failure of the primary and secondary O-rings due to the cold temperature of our scheduled launch time. You better hurry.
You better hold on because it gets worse.
What do you mean it gets worse? What can be worse than a catastrophic failure?
Transfer me over to Kurt.
I don't know how to do that. The girl that does the phones is gone for the day.
Just hit transfer receiver, then extension 304.
Okay, here.
Great.
Is that how you want to play this, huh? Like a junior high playground?
Can we all just take a breath and talk about this?
No! The time for talking is over. It looks like I'm going to have to single-handedly save the space program.
Space program? Did you even hear yourself?
What good is a space program that never launches into space?
Kurt, we are having some major issues regarding the launch tomorrow morning, and we need to set up a meeting with Marshall, Kennedy, and our company.
The temperature needs to be discussed as well as our recovery of the SRBs. Boats are being called back in because of wind, which puts us in jeopardy of losing our assets. That's correct. Yes, sir. We could use some management assistance setting up that meeting ASAP. And Kurt, I want to highly stress that this remain an engineering decision. All right. Thank you.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a meeting with Kennedy Space Center and Marshall Space Flight Center on a conference call. We're gonna convince them to push the launch window a little bit. We need to get those boats out there and recover our rockets. Now, what's the argument with the temperature?
It's inconclusive.
Come
No,
on.
it's not.
The temperature is outside of our experience data, and you know we have been getting erosion and blow-by.
It isn't the worst at a lower temperature.
Yes, it is.
Not with erosion.
What's the difference, gentlemen?
Erosion means that the rubber hull seal is being eaten away. Blow-by is the exhaust that actually gets past the seal.
And it's the blow-by that gets worse at the lower temperatures. The lower the temperature, the more the rocket exhaust passes right past the seals. And the greater the blow-by, the greater the chance of secondary seal failure. Secondary seal failure equals catastrophic failure.
Okay, we are gonna argue for a launch delay. And we are all gonna be in agreement, Frank. Now, NASA is pushing for a launch, even though it could cost us our rockets.
It's the engineering. We need to push because of the engineering.
There is more at play here, Adam, than the engineering. The dang media keeps pushing and pushing, so much so that NASA's staring down the barrel of another national embarrassment, especially after the handle and all the delays.
Who cares?
Who cares? The people who pay the bills care.
The taxpayers.
Yeah, right. The Department of Defense pays the bills so their satellites can catch a ride into orbit. And the DOD wants what they paid for. If they don't get what they paid for, they'll just go somewhere else.
Where? Macy's?
Maybe NASA and the DOD think it's time to invest in a new horse, especially if this horse can't get them where they want to go. You think it's an engineering problem, but it's not. It's an economic problem.
Are we arguing to launch or not to launch?
Yes, economics is a factor. I thoroughly agree. However, the five of us believe temperature is the best argument. If NASA's loss is not greater than our loss of the rockets, then the economic argument will not work. However, if they're concerned about the loss of their shuttle in an even more embarrassing incident, then we should argue in the best interest of their success. If we delay a few hours, temperature goes up, right, Adam?
Yes.
And the rocket gets launched, right, Frank?
Yes.
And our ships have a better shot at recovering our SRBs, right, Kurt?
Absolutely.
It seems to me we have no other choice in the matter.
It seems we have no choice in the matter.
Sir, let us put together an argument. We want to help the company, NASA, the DOD, everyone.
You have exactly 45 minutes to get a presentation.
45 minutes?
As soon as this sentence is done, I am picking up that phone, calling them, and setting the meeting.
How are we supposed to get this prepped in 45 minutes?
Get them out of
Kurt,
here.
this is a complex technical issue. We need more than 45 minutes.
Mr. Nelson?
How are we supposed to put together a complex technical presentation, send it across America so Utah, Alabama, and Florida can all see it all within 45 measly minutes?
We got the win.
Oh, and what was all that about the economics?
Adam, NASA's never gone against a contractor's recommendation. We get the meeting. We tell them we don't want the launch. They don't negate us. We win.
Let's just throw some stuff together and get the launch delayed and get to work on this thing, you know? Get a launch eventually so we can have jobs.
If we do a halfway decent job, we will be just fine.
Oh, in 45 minutes?
Starting to think this was a bad idea.
Why don't you just go home for the night?
No, we need everyone working.
I used to think you only cared about being right.
That's right.
Now I only think you care about being at odds with everyone.
What you think doesn't matter.
I think what he thinks matters.
What if we're chasing a ghost here, huh? A madman's imagination. Why do we have to participate in this death spiral?
Because I'm the one who's right.
Yeah, says you.
That's right, says me.
I'm out.
Edwin, we need you.
Yeah, I don't need this.
Ed, you have to look past the argument and the numbers and the data and the O-rings and see the man. All right, sometimes he doesn't get it. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. Hell, I don't even think he cares about the engineering. But I do know he cares about this. He cares about being right. And that's what I trust, and that's the truth. We gotta get past his little show.
I trust him.
Yeah, trust everyone.
I just wish I had another day.
What if he's wrong?
What if he's right?
What if he's wrong?
What if he's right?
Why is this our problem all of a sudden? If we're wrong and we stop a lunch for no reason, we lose. If we're right and we stop a lunch, another lunch, we lose. It's lose-lose.
Because we are the only people on the planet who know we don't know. That there might possibly be, maybe, a problem.
That's the right thing to do.
It is time to move.
We split up. 5 minutes to gather. 15 minutes to sort, 15 minutes to chart, and 15 minutes to send off.
That's 50 minutes.
We have to move faster than time.
We have to hand draw our charts.
Agreed. They're gonna want a lot of statistics. So if you have any doubt, just bring everything with you.
How do we make a presentation to people in 3 different parts of the country in just under 40 minutes?
It's 1986. We are rocket scientists. We work with NASA. We are going to fax it.
Good evening. I'm joined tonight by teacher turned astronaut and first civilian to ever go into space. I I have to start by asking you, what do you think this is going to mean for you after the mission? What are you going to do when you return from space?
Wow, I don't know. But I do know that this was an adventure I couldn't say no to. I mean, to be able to go into space and help school children learn and be more interested in learning, that's what I'm really looking forward to right now. I mean, at first I was nervous about what it would mean for my family and my husband, my kids, my teaching career, but now I'm just looking forward to the adventure ahead. You know, the great unknown. Not necessarily space, but life.
Do you think it's really sunk in yet? You're going into space?
No, absolutely not. I still can't believe that I was chosen for this. You know, 50,000 people applied. I still remember putting my letter into the mailbox and thinking, there are so many other people doing the exact same thing right now. I mean, we were all alike that day. We all thought, it could be me. I have a chance at this. And then it was me. And it's like winning the lottery, being able to go into space and blasting off in the shuttle. I mean, I just feel like I'm taking everyone here on Earth up there with me.
Are you afraid at all?
No, I don't think so. Who knows, though, when we're actually strapped in and those massive rockets are blasting us off into space? And that does sound kind of scary. But I have the utmost confidence in the thousands of people who make all of this happen. You know, these days, spaceflight is very safe.
You know, recently NASA's had a few delays. How, if at all, has that affected the crew mentally?
I mean, it's definitely been interesting. We get so excited about finally taking this mission and then it's delayed. But I know that the engineers and everybody else involved are doing what they need to do to make it as safe as possible. So I have full confidence in what they're doing and the decisions they make. If it needed to be postponed, then, you know, for our safety or for whatever reason they have, then that's something that I think we're all okay with.
You know, at some point in everyone's life, they dream of being an astronaut, and you get to be one. Are you having fun? Has this been a fun experience?
Oh yes, so much fun. I love everyone I work with. Commander Scobie is a solid, unflappable man. Mike and Ellison are the hardest working, smartest people you will ever meet. And Ron and Greg they make us laugh nonstop. Judy and I have a lot of fun together, and I mean, just as a team, we really have to rely on one another.
Sounds like an amazing team.
Oh, it is. I mean, all the way from the very top of NASA down to the guys who clean, to the engineers in between who make sure that this is as safe as possible. I mean, all these people involved are what make it such an amazing experience, and I've had so much joy getting to be a part of all of this. I know that all of my students and even the students at the elementary and the middle school that go to my high school, that feed into my high school, are all going to be watching. And I'm just so excited to be there to wave at the cameras and see them and, you know, let them see that your dreams can come true. I mean, who would have thought that I'm a high school science teacher who's going into space?
Table out here. Everything spread out. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Everything passed. I need to have them. What else? We need all sources.
What is the erosion chart for STS-51B?
It is 51B. They need 51A and 60.
I saw them in one of the ground folders.
Which one?
One of them, I'm not sure.
I need all the SRM coverage to go.
Go?
Go out or go in?
In.
Should we separate the soot levels from the erosion?
No. I want to see the correlation.
Should we make a main summary of all the findings?
Right, wait. We need 51A, 51G, and 51F.
I comes after that.
I after that.
Why can't these be in order? We call them Challenger, Discovery, and then the number.
I'm missing another launch from October. I've got the 30th.
485.
85.
Anyone have October, not 30th, 1985? Anyone? Somebody talk to me. Adam, get your head in the game. Adam.
You've never been more wrong about anything. I get this more than you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get a cup of...
Hey, give me a hand with these drawings, okay?
You know he's our best shot.
He has exactly 9 minutes to get it together.
He better. As a matter of fact, all of us need to throw some cold water on our faces before we go in there.
Agreed.
When you prepared for the telecom meeting, had anything changed in your plan to approach your higher-ups?
No.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey, how's it going over there?
I got what I wanted. Just not the way I wanted.
Is it the temperature?
Yes.
The fluorocarbon elastomer.
Yes.
You're the only ones. There's no one else.
Mm-hmm.
You have a human problem, not an engineering problem.
What's next? What do you have right in front of you that you have to do right now?
Stand up and go into the conference room.
And then what?
Make sure everyone has the right documents.
Then what?
I'll check the temperature correlations to blow-by and seal integrity.
Good. You can do this.
Mary.
I know.
y'all.
We are all here, gentlemen.
This is Jim, the company's flight engineer here at Kennedy Space Center.
Good evening, gentlemen. Anyone from Marshall on yet?
Yes, Sid, Rust, and Pat here.
All right, what seems to be the issue here?
Our best SEAL expert, Adam, has some concerns about the temperature.
I can't stress enough how important it is that how long it takes for these O-rings to seal after they're compressed is vital to a successful launch. Bottom line is, the colder it gets, the further we move away from the direction of goodness.
What do you mean we're moving away from the direction of goodness?
The ability for the seals to expand in their grooves is reduced as a function of temperature. That's when the exhaust blows right by the gap created, burns a hole in the side, and explodes.
You have a history of seal and erosion and blow-by correlation from previous relevant launches, pages 9 through 20.
Yes, there are 2 seals on each joint. Now, we have seen the primary seal breached in the past, and we've all discussed the primary seal being compromised, and we have all concluded that this is an acceptable level of failure if we are confident the second seal will hold. We are unsure the secondary seal will hold at these temperatures.
So, you don't know.
We know that we don't know.
Never has a contractor spoken more truly.
Well, thank you, Marshall. We try to keep a handle on things, though not as good as you guys.
We have enough time to make jokes, but we don't have enough time to fix seals.
If the seals are a problem, then why aren't they in the problem assessment system documents we have here? And why are we just hearing about it now tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna let our problem assessment expert handle that one. Frank?
Because it looks to be like that we left them off of the document.
Because it was fixed?
No, sir. Because they were always on there.
I don't understand.
So you're saying we took a problem off the problem assessment system because it's still a problem?
We all agreed that these ongoing problems were cluttering up the PASs. No one was looking at them. And the things that we took off were to be handled by a special committee.
Seems like, what's that main SEAL guy's name?
Adam.
Seems like Adam thinks the problem isn't fixed.
We all agreed the problem was acceptable.
We've never launched a shuttle below 53 degrees, and we are moving into the coldest launch in NASA's history.
So you're changing the launch criteria from 40 degrees to 53 degrees the night before the launch.
We're saying this is our data limitation.
When we run tests and squeeze the rubber, look at page 38. When we squeeze it at 100 degrees and let off the pressure, we never lose contact. But at 50 degrees, when we let off the pressure, it takes a few minutes for the rubber to spring back into place.
Your test does not represent reality. The O-rings are constantly under pressure. Your conclusion is not logical.
It is logical. It proves that the fluorocarbon elastomer rubber is absolutely affected by temperature. If we lose the seal for 1/10 of a second, the hot firing gases could blow by the seal and erode the O-ring, which we have seen happen. And if the secondary backup O-ring does the same thing and is compromised, that's the ball game.
We've seen blow-by on STS-61A also. It's page 4.
It says here that the launch went off at 75 degrees and you got blow-by. I just don't understand how you can determine temperature is the deciding factor.
Yeah, I'd like to answer that one, please. I just don't understand how you don't understand that the cold makes rubber harder and less flexible.
It's warm, there's blow-by. It's cold, there's blow-by. It's warm, there's erosion. It's cold, there's erosion. It doesn't seem to matter what temperature it is.
Yeah, if you just look at it with a rudimentary pass-fail, then yes, they both get blow-by. But if you get scientific about it, at colder temperatures, the soot from the blow-by is jet black. At 75 degrees, the soot from the blow-by is light gray and spotty. I examined them myself. Now, if you can't see the difference, I can't help you. We have seen primary seal failure in the past. And if you see primary seal failure, then there is a high probability of secondary seal failure within the first second of ignition when the rocket flexes at the joint, and it will flex. And when the seals are compromised, you get blow-by. The blow-by erodes the seals, and that's when you have rocket flames shooting out the side instead of the bottom.
And you have never seen secondary backup seal failure.
Actually, we have. STS-51B, the secondary O-ring, suffered 12% erosion.
So why wasn't that the ball game, Bill?
What do you mean?
Well, you said earlier that if we had secondary seal failure, it would be the ball game. This says it's happened before.
Just because we've done it once doesn't mean we could do it again. We did it by the skin of our teeth.
Is this how we're gonna keep going? Like a child who runs out into the road and nothing happens. He says, see, I'm just fine. They just keep on running out into the road and the parents do nothing?
Oh, so you're the parent?
Someone has to be.
I just can't believe it is a function of temperature. The data is inconclusive. I can't accept this train of thought.
If you take a look at the synopsis, we should not launch with an O-ring temperature below 53 degrees Fahrenheit. It shouldn't matter that we've skirted disaster in the past.
The odds will catch up with us eventually.
Quantify your results.
Quantify?
What is the probability of primary and secondary O-ring failure?
I don't understand your question.
Quantify.
How do you quantify a train is coming? You look down the tracks and you see a train is coming.
I'm telling you to do it. Quantify your results.
No, I can't. I can't do that with this data. I can only work with the data in front of me. You're giving me oranges and asking me to bake you an apple pie. I can't do that. What I can quantify with 100% accuracy is that right now we are moving away from the direction of goodness. I don't understand this conversation. The facts don't lie. I don't understand how you can see the facts and they don't convince you. Cold rubber doesn't lie. Recovered rockets don't lie. Burned up, charred up O-rings don't lie. I'm right about this. I am. You hired me to do a job, and by God, I'm gonna do it. And I don't care if it ruins me, or you, or NASA, or anybody else. You get me?
So what do you think, Pat?
I am appalled that you would dare to make such a recommendation and change the flight criteria the night before a launch.
Look here. It is expected to be 29 to 39 degrees tomorrow. Even your high temperature is outside of our data experience. Haven't you been getting ice already?
Fine. I'm not going to go against a contractor's assessment.
When do you want me to launch? Next April? I can't go against the contractor's recommendation to stop the launch.
Pat?
Jim?
This has to be an engineering decision, not program or management.
Kurt, you want to give us a final?
Can you give us about 5 minutes, please?
Yes, you bet.
Thank you.
This is so backwards.
Generating new launch criteria the night before you launch, that's backwards.
I suspect our guys are gathering more data, running numbers to come up with a more accurate temperature launch window.
Whatever they're doing, they had better come back with a way to quantify their recommendation.
What was that?
So now we have to prove that something doesn't work?
Instead of having to prove that it does work.
There's 15,000 jobs on the line. We need this contract. We're putting pressure on this company. We need more than what they're giving.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. We need to make a management decision.
We can't do that. Please, look at the chart in front of you. If they say nothing, that will show you our uncertainty. We cannot guarantee a good seal. I don't know what else to say.
Black soot, look at him. Look at him!
Data's inconclusive.
I wouldn't get on that shuttle tomorrow.
You're not an astronaut.
That's right, I'm not an astronaut. But their lives are in our hands. Would you get on that shuttle?
They know the risk, and that's not our concern.
What? What kind of a man are you? Adam! How dare you play with human life like that? Who do you think you are, God? Huh? You think you get to decide who lives and who dies? This is despicable is what this is. You're a weak, spineless man who won't give these poor souls a chance. So what? So we can keep our stupid jobs and make an extra buck or two? Huh? You're willing to drive right up to the edge of the cliff just to see how close you can get without falling off? You're gonna fall off tomorrow. I tell you what, why don't you put on one of those pretty blue costumes and a helmet, try yourself down to that cage with a bomb strapped under it, huh? Better yet, why don't you invite your wife or your daughter? This is not a management decision.
NASA, we took a second look at our data and we've determined that it is inconclusive. Our recommendation is to launch.
Are there any disagreements? Then it's a go.
Why didn't you speak up after that? Why did you stay silent? You guys are the engineers. You should have said something.
I don't know what to say to that.
It's exactly why you need our help to get through this. These questions are going to come up. You need to have an answer.
Can you fax over a flight recommendation to get signed?
Right away.
Please, sign this.
Oh, no.
We need someone from your company to sign this.
I'm not signing that.
Can we have someone from your end sign a flight recommendation and fax it over, please?
Right away.
The recovery boats coming back in was enough to scrap the launch. The wind was enough to scrap the launch. The ice was enough to scrap the launch, let alone your contractor's safety concerns. If something happens tomorrow, I wouldn't want to be the one to stand up in front of some board of inquisition and give testimony as to why I chose to launch against the qualifications and recommendations of my engineers.
residual hydrogen gas. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. The solid rocket booster flight instrumentation recorders have gone into the record mode. Coming up on the 32nd point in our countdown, the SRB hydraulic power units have started. T-minus 21 seconds and the solid rocket booster engine gimbal now underway. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff. Liftoff from the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
Throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%. Challenger, go with throttle up. Challenger, go with throttle up. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
You know, the investigation turned up the fact that some of them survived the initial explosion. Some of the safety switch protocols have been activated. Did they die on impact? Did they drown? Did they suffocate? Guess it doesn't matter.
Did you know any of them?
No. Never met a single one.
This is a tragedy. A true tragedy. One our nation will not soon forget. But I think we have to remember it's a risky business.
It is. But you know what? I'm really getting kind of sick of hearing that. Wish we had Reagan to comfort us, though, huh?
Today is a day for mourning and remembering. We know we share this pain with all of the people of our country. This is truly a national loss. The families of the 7, we cannot bear, as you do, the full impact of this tragedy. But we feel the loss, and we're thinking about you so very much. I've always had great faith in and respect for our space program, and what happened today does nothing to diminish it. We don't hide our space program. We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up front and in public. That's the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute. We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttle flights and more shuttle crews, and yes, more volunteers, more civilians, more teachers in space. Nothing ends here. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, this morning, as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God. Thank you.
What are you doing?
Getting rid of this thing.
Why? Adam, can you just wait just 1 second? Adam, what do you think this is gonna solve?
I don't know.
You don't have to throw away our TV.
Man, I don't want all this getting in.
Getting in?
The
What are you
reports, the investigations, the accusations
heard what he was
against
saying?
me, against us.
You didn't do anything. Hey, you did something.
That amounted to nothing.
You didn't do anything wrong.
I could have done so much more. I could
No,
have.
no, you couldn't have. You did everything that you could have.
No.
All of you did.
Well, did I call the media? Did I call the astronauts? Did I try to call the astronauts' families? Did I pick up the red phone and try to call the president? Did I jump in my car and go flying all the way down to Florida and go lay down in the middle of the launch pad to try to stop this thing that I knew was going to happen?
No, you didn't. But they should have listened. They should have pushed back the launch. A couple hours, a day, whatever it took. But they didn't, and that's on them. You were right.
I was right. I was right. So what?
This is too heavy a burden to carry.
What happened in Utah a few weeks after?
Well, people were upset. The whole town has a stake in this. Most of us who live here work there. There were a few individuals who decided to pull a very insensitive stunt. We don't know who they were.
Did you feel like it was directed at you?
Yeah, I did.
And you just remember this, okay? Your dad tried to stop that launch when no one else would. That's the truth.
They will eventually call anyone and everyone who has a significant role in the solid rocket booster fabrication to testify before the commission that President Reagan has assembled. It's a witch hunt.
It's not a witch hunt. It's just a fact-finding committee.
Well, they found an awful lot of facts lately, haven't they?
Like what?
Like that New York Times article, where an insider leaked sensitive information.
It's not sensitive information. It's the truth. And if you're implying that I'm the one who leaked, you're out of your mind.
Do not give out any more information than is absolutely necessary. Yes, no, or I don't know.
You shouldn't antagonize these people.
Don't go out there on your own. I'm telling you, for your own sake.
I don't like the way you said that.
Do you want the space program to continue? Yes or no?
That's not the question.
Yes or no? That is the question. That is the only question. You engineers seem to think that in a few weeks it's business as usual. Well, I have news for you. You are not flying again anytime soon. You get to decide when. How long do you want to wait before the next shuttle is on the launch pad? 3 years or 3 decades? You decide. Mistakes have been made, and if they continue to be made, you are never flying again, ever. That decision is made for you. No more contracts, no more space program, no more progress. This is it. History making time right now. Do you continue to shoot your mouth off with no regard to progress? Because if you go against counsel and you perjure yourself or you say something incriminating by accident, that is on you. Testifying before a presidential commission is nothing to screw around with.
And how many have you testified before?
I don't testify.
None. You've testified before none, and I have. So that makes me the expert in this room.
Yes, no, or I don't know.
I have to go back to work.
If you go against us, you will lose. Both of you.
With the type of erosion that we had was at the case to the nozzle interface.
To understand what critically blunt means, it means it is important for safety of the flight. Is there a higher category than that?
Let me go back just one moment to the Cook memorandum. He said, I would think that any NASA budget submitted this year for fiscal year 1987 should certainly be based on a reliable judgment as to the
started.
laws of the SRB seal.
Does anyone know you're here?
I think anyone knows anyone is here.
Is there any internal correspondence on potential concern over the operation of the O-rings or the joints?
We can ask Jim, who works for the contractor that built the solid rocket boosters, if they have anything.
I believe there's some test data in progress now, some from before, that speaks to the resiliency of the O-rings.
There were some discussions the night before the launch, correct? Between you and the people at the contractors company.
Yes, sir. As a matter of routine, we ask our technical people, contractors, if there are any concerns. And the only concerns that they pointed out were the recovery battery temperatures, and those are located in the forward end of the solid rocket boosters.
Did you discuss anything with the contractors or engineers?
They presented to us the fact that the lowest temperature that we had flown, an O-ring or a case joint, was 53 degrees. And they wanted to point out that we would be outside our experience space.
Okay, I'm asking because we read in the New York Times about memos to NASA expressing concern about erosion of the O-rings. Are there any documents expressing concern about the temperature that morning?
I am not aware of any such documents. I'll go back and look, go through my files, and see if there are any.
In other words,
seriously?
God.
Liars!
As far as you knew.
Can't believe this.
Someone has to say something.
Please, media's here.
So what?
Based upon what had happened in previous flights, and you were making
What are you doing?
a study of that.
Please put your hand
Can't let it go down like this.
That's not working.
Here saw that memo from
There you go. Oh, stop it, you. Go interrupt
As
them.
of now, we don't know if he did anything about this.
I'm not doing this.
Go.
we are all seeing this really for the first time. I guess we saw it in the newspaper.
I'd like to say about the
just
meeting
like
you were
you
talking
and
about.
the other members of the commission.
Earlier.
Am I correct in assuming that what you described, that in the normal chain of authority, neither Mr. Cook nor Mr. Mann would
I'd
have...
like to say something about the meeting you were talking about.
Hang on a second.
I believe Jim Witt will have something to add.
Yes, I'd like to say something about the meeting.
Excuse me. Can you say that a little louder where everyone can hear you?
I'd like to say about the meeting you were talking about earlier. The meeting was called by us, the engineers. And we tied in Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, to let them know our concerns about the colder temperatures and that our recommendation was not to launch.
If what I'm hearing is true, this could be in litigation for years.
We initially told them not to launch below 53 degrees. We were convinced the seals were compromised the lower the temperature got.
We were moving away from the direction of goodness?
You never changed your minds about launching?
No, sir.
I was in Kennedy, and after Adam and Bill expressed their concerns, our company in Utah had a private caucus and changed their minds.
You work for that company?
Yes, sir.
So you had data and concerns, then changed your mind based on what?
You'd have to ask them in Utah. I was not a part of the private meeting to reevaluate the data.
Were you gentlemen there in Utah?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Did the reevaluation of the data factor in proceeding to fly?
Yes, sir.
Why did you decide to fly?
We did not decide.
We didn't decide to fly.
Well, someone did. The gentleman just said that the private meeting resulted in changing the recommendation to launch, and now you're saying you did not. Nelson, did their company recommend a launch?
Yes, sir.
So who changed their mind?
Bill and I are O-ring experts, and the recommendation to launch went against our recommendation. We faxed over a lot of documents and our official engineering perspective to not launch. NASA put pressure on our leadership. Our boss convened a meeting with everyone in Utah, and they decided to launch.
Did you change your mind?
No, sir. Never.
How about you?
No, sir.
And you?
No. In fact, they faxed over a document and tried to get me to sign it recommending we fly, and I refused.
What were your initial findings?
When we tested at the lower temperatures, we saw that it took a while for the...
Can you quantify how poorly this is going for you?
The lower temperatures that we've actually launched. Not as poorly as it's going to go for the guy who throws his own company under the bus.
What do you mean the coldest temperature? The coldest temperature?
Maybe you ought to get a handle on that.
It was the temperature of launching, sir, the manned spaceflight.
Mr. Nelson, I'd like to see the signed document that recommends to launch.
Yes, sir. Here's the signed document from the contracting company that recommends launch.
What did we all talk about earlier? If you're asked a question, you say what? Yes, no, and what? And what did I hear?
We're the company guys. We're going to work tomorrow.
I just wanted you to know what you men did in there today was incredibly brave.
Thank you.
I hope you know that there are laws to protect you against any retaliation for what you have said here today.
We'll see. Is anything gonna happen to these guys?
We are here to learn and to make recommendation to the president, and then he will decide. I think the best thing to do is to simply keep telling the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Not hungry anymore.
He'll come around. No, he won't.
Adam, yeah, I just wanted to ask you, we have no proof. You don't have any money to afford a team like this. And I can already see it's an unwinnable case. So what's the real reason you want to do this?
No one was prosecuted. No one lost their jobs except for the people who were trying to do the right thing. And now 7 of society's finest are dead, and they're going to stay dead. You think we need to try something?
I do. But it's just going to wind up being a stunt to try the case in public and give them a black eye in the news for a couple of days.
I can live with that. I don't care what you have to say. I am an O-ring expert. I worked for the company that built the solid rocket boosters for the Space Shuttle Challenger. And the decision to launch went against our recommendation. But I guess you knew that already, huh? I want to ask you, how many of you are planning to be engineers? Everyone. Okay. Well, that's great. Really, that is great. You know, what I think I want to talk to you about today is about the value of a human life. Because all of you are going to go on to build roads, bridges, toys, cars, rockets, homes, whatever. Whatever it is, an engineer thinks it and makes it. Hey, kids. Hey, girls.
We'll be back later.
But I just want you to remember to see the people on the other side of whatever it is that you make. And also remember the people that you made it with. Yeah?